And say hi. Good morning. Welcome to Blooms in the Yard. I'm Kate. This video was inspired by a podcast I've been listening to called Talking Gardens. Oh gosh. Yeah. There we go. That's a good point. I've been listening to a podcast called Talking Gardens, where she interviews gardeners, landscapers about their dream garden. In the podcast, she really pushes them to think outside of the box and talks them through like what their inspiration would be for the garden. What are some famous gardens that they would like to incorporate into their garden, or natural landscapes that they would love to have in their garden. And there's kind of no limit. You're not limited by the climate where you live. It's just you can have whatever you want in your dream garden. I started thinking, well, I should just sit down and write down what I would have in my dream garden, or what more what I would be inspired by. Like, what are the places I've been that would inspire my dream garden. There's no boundaries, there's no budget, no climate limitations. I started thinking about some of the trips I've taken. So this process of thinking about what places would be incorporated into my dream garden has really just got me thinking bigger about the inspiration for my garden. It's like casting a bigger vision. My degree is in fashion design. You wouldn't know it from what I wear, but and it took me back to, where we would draw inspiration from for our clothes. It's not from department stores, it's from, the New York Fashion Week, or even better, like street fashion, or just places we've been, or things like that. And so it really just got me thinking a little more outside the box about my garden. I have a friend's daughter who got to Make-A-Wish with the Make-A-Wish Foundation, and her daughter asked to go to a local hotel with a water park in it. And so her mom was like, no, we need to think bigger. So that's kind of what I was thinking of as I was designing my dream garden. I was like, think big, because you can always rein it in later, right? So I'm going to start with one garden that really inspires me, and then several landscapes. The garden I've chosen for my inspiration is Iford Garden in Wiltshire, England. It's not necessarily the most impressive garden, but it to me felt like warm and cozy and intimate, and it had a lot of the things that I enjoy in gardens. I love stone and ruins, and Iford has that in abundance. It has follies and bridges. There are areas that are overflowing with color. And yet many of the areas are understated and restful with just green and structure. As I'm going through these pictures of Iford Garden, I see so many things that I can add into my garden. Some stone here, a ground cover there. I don't have to use the same plants, but I can repeat the color combinations. I can grow a Japanese maple in a terracotta pot. This picture just made me realize that I need to grow something creeping along the back edge of my patio where my grill is. Maybe I should grow some Boston ivy on my chimney. So you can see how easy it is to take your inspiration and start to pull things out that you like and bring them into your garden. Once I started thinking of landscapes I would like in my dream garden, I just kind of couldn't stop, so there's quite a few. I'm going to start with Llyn Idwal, which is Lake Idwal in Wales. We were blessed to go to the UK last summer. It had been a trip 6 years in the planning, and those plans were botched during COVID, so we finally got to go in 2024. This lake hike might be one of my favorite hikes ever. With Llyn Idwal, I can't recreate the cool, misty atmosphere. But since I can't have that, let's look at what I can bring into my garden. Stones and babbling brooks. Low mounds of purple heather. I'm pretty sure heather will not grow well here where I live in Kansas, but I can certainly find a substitute with a similar growing habit and color. Slopes with rock and heather. From these pictures, I'm thinking I can bring into my garden stone paths, boulders, and bridges. The bridge is a pretty big dream of mine. That may never happen, but we're dreaming here. Once I narrowed down a few of my favorite landscapes, I asked myself, what is it that I like about it? What draws me to it? And then I can bring that into my garden. The Columbia River Gorge is my next landscape that I just loved going there. I loved being there, and I think about it and it brings me joy now. The gorge has many very tall waterfalls, all within a few miles. We explored this area on a trip to see my brother. You might recognize this view of Multnomah Falls from social media. Obviously, I can't have a waterfall that's over 1,000 feet high in my suburban backyard, but I was also enamored with the plants growing wild in that area. From ferns to coral bells to bleeding heart and trillium, I can plant these in my backyard and be reminded of my time at the Columbia River Gorge. I also noticed how many of the plants were growing in crevices, and there's just something dreamy about that. I need to incorporate more of this into my garden. I'm obsessed with the moss growing over everything. The first time I visited the Pacific Northwest, I fell in love with the rich green feel of hikes where everything is covered in soft green carpets of moss. The forest setting is important to me because I love the coolness of the shade. It can be hard to grow moss during the hot summers here, but I'm sure I can think of some alternatives. Once I started thinking of places that I wanted to include a piece of in my garden, it was hard to stop. Next, I remembered our hike through Fern Canyon in the redwood forests of Northern California. The walls are covered in ferns. It's stunning. Now I'm contemplating if I can get some ferns to grow along the walls of my creek. It would probably be a stretch for our conditions, but it's certainly worth thinking about. The root balls of the fallen redwoods in that area were spectacular. It makes me appreciate the interesting stump I have in my creek a little bit more. I kept a large branch that fell out of our cottonwood tree because it had character. These are little ways that I can bring the feeling I had at the redwood forest into my garden. Maybe no one will ever realize that the boulder in your yard reminds you of your trip to Colorado, but it will make you happy, and in time your garden's personality will really start to show. People won't necessarily know why they like it, they just know they like it. They're seeing you come through. I'm not looking to recreate one place in my garden. I want to pull many things from places I've loved together to make a unique garden. But I'm not done yet. Last year I went to Watkins Glen in upstate New York. It's a small gorge with many waterfalls along a 1-mile hike. While the waterfalls in the Columbia River Gorge were huge, stately, and magnificent, this small canyon feels intimate and cozy, yet it's still stunning. A treasure for the eye around every corner. You might be starting to notice that I really love waterfalls, really love stone canyons, and lush amounts of green. This process of choosing my favorite places helps me to hone in on what my style is. Now I know better what I'm drawn to. It's not shocking that this is the landscape. When I think about the house that I bought, I have a lot of stone and water and trees and shade and forest in my backyard. So it's like, oh, okay, I bought this house drawn to that, not even knowing that that was my style yet. But I do sometimes crave some light and some color and some open spaces. And I think that this is where my love of the English garden comes in. I love a good English cottage garden. You can really see that style come through in my front sun border. As I was going through my pictures from England and pulling out things that I would like in my dream garden, it became clear to me that I love ruins. I need to figure out a way to incorporate this into my garden more. Antique stone pieces can be very costly. I always have my eye out for a good deal on any architectural salvage pieces. The last thing that I would have in my dream garden is a massive old tree full of twists and turns and character. These photos are from Oak Alley Plantation and other spots in Louisiana, where live oaks live for hundreds of years, and they are draped in Spanish moss. It brings a magical fairy tale setting into the garden. I just realized that my dog's been groaning. I wonder how much of that's going to be in the video. Come here, buddy. Why are you groaning? Do you want out? My dream garden would not be complete without a live oak, hundreds of years old. It's not realistic for Kansas, but we're dreaming big here. I've been blessed with a red bud that has a good amount of character in it. Again, this process has made me appreciate all of the awesome things I already have and given me some great ideas for the future. You're starting to see that my dream places have a lot in common. Large, gnarly trees, water, stone. Your garden style will start to take shape as you explore your favorite places. We don't want to recreate one place because that place already exists. Unique style comes through when we take bits from here and there and put them together into our own unique garden space. So what would your dream garden have? What places have you been that you would love to incorporate into your garden? And how can you bring those in little ways? We're starting big, and then we're just bringing it down to these little pieces that we can include in our garden that will bring us joy and give our garden some personality. Say goodbye. Say goodbye. Yeah. Hi, we're gonna yawn. That's what we do. Good boy, aren't you? You good boy? You groaning throughout my whole video?